o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting, the regular meeting of the Summers County Board of Education to order. I'd like to say welcome to everyone, and at the roll call, let the record show that we have 3 board members in person, Ms. Harvey, Ms. Farley, and myself, with Mr. Angel and Mr. Brogan unable to attend. Like to lead us in prayer and vote.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Approval of the agenda and adjustments.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we pull under the employment substitute summer service, pull the name Joe Farley, bus operator, out and do that, table that for the future because that's my husband and there'd be a conflict. We don't have enough to have a quorum.
Okay. Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Let the record reflect by a 3-0 vote. We will make that adjustment to the agenda.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda with the aforementioned adjustment.
A second?
All right, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record reflect by a 3-0 vote. Motion carries. Now, presentations.
We have Christina Kellen here. She's our new librarian. You've been used to a gentleman that came to board meetings every year to talk to you about the library, but wanted to introduce to you the new face of the library and also have her have a chance to update you on anything. And then if you had any questions,
All
they
right.
can only ask easy questions tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Chris Kellen from the library, and this is Weston Hartwell. He's my assistant.
How are you?
Good, how are you,
Do
ma'am?
you want to pass those out? There's 2 different ones, and we also brought.
You got a good assistant there.
Yeah.
I can say that publicly.
He also made you guys mugs to say, love your library.
Nice.
Thank you.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come down here and talk to you guys. I've been at the library for about 10 years now. I was a library patron from before I could walk. Myra says she remembers my mother carrying me in my womb. So,
That's funny.
and I'm on the other side of the services. I really like helping the kids out, helping them find books that they love to read, characters that they admire, stories that they can relate to. Now, before I was the director, of course, I was the youth and outreach coordinator. And that was the best job in the library. Definitely the funnest. So we take our bookmobile to all 3 elementary schools. The kids get to come out. It takes the whole day to see even one school. Hinton area, we just kind of shove them all in like sardines. It's a big school. But the kids love it. The teachers love it. We love it. This school year, we've had almost 40 school runs. And of course, that's still got several months left. The bookmobile holds about 5,000 books, including graphic novels, fiction, nonfiction. We've got them separated out by AR level for the kids. And so far this year, they have checked out 4,800 books, actually a little bit over. So that means like almost every book has been checked out is what I like to think. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They all want to check out like the same sharp book 30 times, whatever. Uh, We also hold several programs in the library dedicated to helping the children maintain and improve their reading skills. So every week, I have a play group come in called Little Learners. We play games, we sing songs. Lena Richmond is actually running that program for us now. She took my position. And so we try to choose activities that are going to help the children develop their milestones. So gross and fine motor skills, reading skills, things like that. We're actually going to do some pop-up play days this week since it's spring break. This gives the kids a chance to work on their social skills, it gives the parents a bit of a break, gets the parents in the library, see what else we offer, like adult ed and stuff. Earlier this year, we visited the fire department, and that was fun. The police department's gonna come so the kids can meet police officers, EMTs, paramedics. I'm looking forward to that one, actually. We have a book club for older students. We call it Books and Beyond, and we try to do fun as much as possible, but we like to incorporate reading too. We've got several homeschooling families that join us for that, which give their their children time to socialize with other kids. One of our favorites is Reader's Theater. And so this gives the kids a chance to use a book as a script, so they don't actually have to memorize anything, but they get to practice their reading skills. So body language, voice expression, learning to pause when there's a period or something like that. Things that they're learning in school, and then they're getting to use it in a fun atmosphere. Really helps like bring it home for them. Minute Mysteries is a fun one. So we read a story and look for clues in the wording, and they only give you like 60 seconds to find the clues or something like that. It's fun. I've got really good at them. So it's an inexpensive program for us to run, and it's easily mobile. And Weston has been running it for us at the after-school program for Talcott and Hinton area. Anything you want to say about that? Kids love it.
I mean, they just love it. I mean, you just see their little wheels spinning, and they're just really trying to figure this out. And it's just amazing. And then I actually had a little boy take the book while they were having snack time, and he wanted to read it on his own and try and crack them. So, yeah, it's really great.
And so one program that I'm especially passionate for is our summer reading challenge. So every year we hold one to help children maintain their reading skills during the long summer break. So this past year, I've been in the position for 10 years, and it's just been slowly withering away since I was a kid. But this past year, we actually asked families to read just one book a night with your kid, or one chapter a night. We had 30 families actively participate, and they read over 1,000 books in 2 months. And so that was just like a huge increase, and we want to keep that momentum going this summer. And so one of the things that we've decided to do is make it more personable. So every year, the CSLP, Collaborative Summer Library Program, they come up with a new theme. They have ideas for books to read, story times, games, all that stuff. And it's a great thing. However, I wanted something different. So this year, we're going to do completely based on West Virginia. So every book that we have picked out, every game that we're going to play is somehow related to West Virginia. And we're really excited to show Summers County youth everything about West Virginia. So famous people, not just the banana pudding, the pepperoni rolls, but like trains, coals, all the history. Because none of this would be possible without contributions like the Board of Ed makes for us. Most of our funding comes from grants and aid, GIA. So that money is allotted, most of it comes through lottery winnings. And so it roughly equals out to like $5 per head in Summers County. So our population is right at 12,000. So obviously that's not enough to run the library. But we also have to match half of that with local source funding. So the Board of Ed, of course, is our biggest one. We also have the County Commission and the City of Hinton. So that unlocks more money for us. It's a simpler way to put it. And so we could not do it without the Board of Ed sound. I mean, the library would literally have to close down if we did not have y'all's help. So we just wanted to say thank you for putting us in for funding this year. We really appreciate it because we love our jobs. We want to keep doing them. Of course, we want kids to be able to read and then come and teach you guys. That's all we have. Do you want to give these out actually? So Weston is great with our cricket. We received a grant last year to bump up our makerspace.
I didn't say,
So he designed tote bags, and t-shirts, and mugs.
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Yeah, Weston's a jack of all trades.
Thank you.
Maybe
Thank you, Sean.
maybe get you to start thinking about becoming a teacher.
Actually, that's what I'm going to Concord to do this fall.
You promising?
Yeah, I'll promise.
Okay, it's on video and YouTube now.
I'm doing
Okay.
social studies.
Hey, just get the teaching certificate.
Yeah, actually.
So we actually have to get back to the Friends of the Library meeting, but if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I just have one. What's the popular book right now?
Whatever James Patterson wrote last night.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
He's got kids, picture books, chapter books, James Patterson, it's just everyone. All right, well,
So James Patterson's doing all right then.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Especially in this county. Well, thanks for coming tonight and
Thank you for
Thank
having
having
me.
this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any public comments?
None tonight. No.
Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes. Superintendent recommends the minutes from the March 28, 23 regular meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from
Second,
the March 28th meeting.
I second that. All right, is there any discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Or no? Let the record reflect by 3-0 vote. The motion carries. Okay, moving on to approval of the bills.
I will make a motion that we pay the bills.
A second.
All right. Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect by 3-0 vote. The motion carries. Moving on to new business. Do we have any purchases over 20,000?
Yeah, you hear some noise in the background. Hopefully that one has been laid to rest and we're gonna get that sewage fixed and it won't cost that. But we didn't have any idea because of an issue with the commodes here and above us not getting rid of the excess waste. So long story short, we have a problem at Jumping Branch Elementary. You know how they say timing is everything? We are fortunate that we had a boiler fail on us and it failed at the right time of year now. So we need to replace that boiler and we talked to Train about it. Do you guys have a copy of that in your folders? Because if not, we need to see what the actual copy is of. Well, basically, we work with Train through the ESC with anything that deals with Train products, but we'll get you a copy of that. The good news is it's not as expensive as I thought because I figured it'd be over 100,000. I think you were the closest without going over. What was the cost? Is around $57,000, $58,000 to replace it. If we get it ordered tomorrow, it's going to take 12 weeks to get to us. because of the supply chain. That's all I can tell you. But we would still get it in before we got any cold weather is what I'm getting at. So even 12 weeks out, you're talking the middle to late summer at best to get that product. And then the train company would put that in. And then Jumping Branch would have a second boiler system that would make sure there's enough heat in that building. Because when it went out, we were in a position where we were fortunate we've had a mild winter. It just went out in the past month. Charlie has tried to limp it along, but it's not going to pass inspection now. But the guy said, the guy who does the inspections worked with Charlie on it to make sure it could limp along until now. We don't have to use it because it's warm. So the good news is it's quit at the best time of the year. The bad news is it's still a huge pay increase. Miss Crook is looking at getting an okay with using the ESSERF money, COVID money, to pay for that because it deals with safety and air quality for our kids. So I want her, when she comes back with the paperwork, to see if I was not speaking out of turn there. The ESSERF money or COVID money, would that cover the cost?
Yes, that's
Okay,
what we had talked about to make sure that it covers safety for the students.
thank you. So here's the paperwork in front of you on, I'm trying to get it to you, Mr. McBride. Can't get that last page. All right, I couldn't, well, fingernail. But we work with Train already in the school system. They do a great job of working with us. From what I understand from Mr. Metter and working with the EFC, this is the TIPS program, so we don't have to bid it out since it's already state bidded, if you will, through the EFC. So this is the at cost from the state bid, and this is what it would cost to replace it and make sure that it sets up with our fire alarm system.
And so what was the tips?
TIPS is the, I forget, what's that acronym? Do you remember? It's a state bid site that it's already state bidded out. And it's through our ESC that we can purchase it or just go on the state bid website. Either way, you can use those two agencies, if you will, to purchase big items like this without having to go through our policy 8200 on bidding out the product. We already work with Train anyway. I can't think of the gentleman's name that works with us, but he's really good at customer service on anything that we need. So the total cost would be $56,795.66 for the board to approve of something over $20,000.
And the likelihood of getting ESSER to pay for it?
I think it can be done with ESSER because it's the safety for our students, because it poses a fire hazard if we don't have this replaced. The elements on it would burn through. So through the safety, we can do that with the ESSER funding.
Well, and if worst case scenario though, if they would say no way, that's why when I applied for the MIP, that improvement grant through the school building authority, remember how I said we'd like to apply 150,000 and the question was, why'd you back off and put only 50? It was because I didn't know what this was going to cost. So we're in that range of under 100,000. So if we can use that money, then we're good. If not, we've already allotted the money that we had towards the CTE to go to Jumping Branch Elementary.
And if we use the ESSER funds, that'll take away from what's been planned for Hinton area?
We would have to rearrange the budget.
And the state will have to approve all that too, right?
We go
With
in,
the original plan.
we'll have to go in the system and rework it. Yes.
So if they turn it down, then the backup is the funding.
That we've already allotted for the county. Yeah, because we had 150. Ms. Crook and I were ready to pay 150 towards the CTE. But then once I found out this problem, we said we could only allot 50 towards it because I really didn't know what the cost would be. I'm glad it's not as much as what I was thinking it would be, but I don't know, guys. The supply chain is so messed up. You never know what you're gonna pay for stuff right now.
That's for sure.
So anyway, this is where we're at, and $56,795.66 for the replacement of a boiler at Jumping Branch. Our current one will not pass. Write that down.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this purchase?
I mean, we have to have it, they have to have it. I make a motion that we approve the purchase of the boiler for Jumping Branch Elementary. I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect by a 3-0 vote. We voted to approve this new boiler for Jumping Branch. Okay, moving on to 8B. Discussion, possible action regarding approval of MOU between Summers County Schools and Rhonda Stout.
Okay, would it be easier, Dr. Knott, if you kind of explain this?
Kind of there, but Marty Lynn and Savannah Connor are both taking classes to become certified, board certified behavior analysts. And part of the program is they have to be supervised by a certified behavior analyst. This lady is from so she's fairly close, and they have 100 hours each. Some of those have to be just them being observed, but some can be with the two of them together. So the scout will work whatever possible with the both of them together. Same as Marty, but that's basically what that is.
And the funding source is IDEA or Title I funds?
Yeah, under B, you can see in bold black there, funding source, Title I, yeah.
I didn't see it either.
It's all right, I mean,
So 7,500 now and then 7,500 again after July 1.
It may not be the
Or-
whole amount, depending on how many times she can meet with them together.
Okay.
And they just didn't have time to get all their 100 hours between now and the end of the school year.
Right.
So we would extend it into next school year. The shelter program.
you're gonna see more and more school systems go this way, because with children coming to us with some behavioral issues, i.e. grand families, child abuse situations, which foster care, and then who's in charge of a poor kid that needs all the help they need, you're gonna see more behaviorist therapists. And I'll tell you, I don't know much about Savannah because she's a younger teacher, but working with Marty, she's one of the best ones around to get it, and she's really put forth the effort. The other one's just had a baby and brand new, so she's going to have a lot going on right now, but she's doing a good job too. But Marty's she's lived it. She gets it.
All right. Well, I'll make a motion that we hire this Ms. Rhonda Stout.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Let the record reflect by 3-0 vote. Motion carries. Moving on to 8C, discussion and possible action regarding approval of Communities in Schools, MOU, between Summers County Schools and West Virginia Department of Education.
This will be a simple, we sign off saying we accept the money. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you need any more details, I'll do the best I can to run interference, but we also have Miss Jones over there who lives community in schools. But that program has been a godsend to us.
Great program.
This is year 2 of 3? Or this is year 3?
This would be yes, I'd think about that, yeah.
And is this the same amount that
It's very close to what we received.
Yeah.
the previous year?
206 last year, so it's a little less, but it still will cover our salaries for the facilitators.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the MOU between Summers County Schools and West Virginia Department of Education.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The record reflect a 3-0 vote. Motion passes. Moving on to 8D, discussion and possible action regarding approval of the Leader in Me agreement between Franklin Covey Client Sales Incorporated and Summers County Schools.
This is also pretty self-explanatory. You guys have been in the elementaries with the Leader in Me, with the LSIC meetings. This is pretty good stuff. We'd like to make this pervasive in the whole county, but right now we've had a pretty good start at the elementary level. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those as specific as you'd like, but it's a really good program for our kids.
I agree with that.
So Talcott is doing this too, or just started a couple years ago,
Correct.
in 20. Is Jumping Branch participating in this?
Have they jumped into that, or is it just Talcott and Hinton right now?
It's just talk that's in the area right now, but it's always a possibility if they would want to have a leader in the school.
Yeah, it's always a possibility. Yeah.
And then, so this is just for Hinton area. Will we see Talcott in the future, or does this cover both?
Well, I would say Miss Gum is more familiar with this program, so I think she's got to jump on it.
Ms. Rhodes will see the one for talk
Yeah.
a little bit later. I look for hers to be quite a bit more than the 12,000 because Hinton area has a corporation that provides part of the funding for their program.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the Leader in Me agreement.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect a 5-0 vote, the motion carries. E, discussion and possible action to approve following out-of-state overnight trips.
It's that time of year, and I remember Mr. McBride, your past life with getting buses ready. Does this not look familiar to you this time of year? So
Yes, it does.
we've told all the principals to make sure you get this in sooner than later because we're trying to close out our books for the end of the year, and we got to get this approved if we're doing any of these trips. So you got quite a few there. You got Hinton Area Elementary. They want to go to the Safari Park. Summers County Comprehensive High School, they also want to go to the same place, but one is careers and education for future teachers. The others is an honors biology class, and Jumping Branch has Dollywood and Splash Country, and also Jumping Branch has Snowplex at Liberty University. So quite a few things for our kids to go do for outreach programs.
I'm thinking they might need some chaperones.
Well, there is a chaperone policy in here later we can discuss. Volunteerism, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't had a chance to look through these. Are any of these getting back as late as that one that's getting back at midnight that was in the last meeting?
Well, when you put it in Travel Tracker, usually you put the latest time you can possibly put. It doesn't mean you're going to be that late.
Oh, okay.
It just depends on traffic.
Gotcha.
I mean, I hate to say it that way, but I know when I did transportation, I always said put the later time, but don't go into the next day. But if it's going to be the next day, you have to put it there because it's now considered overnight.
Gotcha.
You know,
I see.
I just hope it doesn't get into traffic issues. You just never know over that
Exactly.
way. Yep. That Snowplex, though, I remember visiting that. That's interesting. Huh?
What is it?
It's
You just looked it up.
okay, I'll tell you what it is real quick. It's artificial turf, and you're on skis and you slide on artificial turf, and they put like water on it to make it like you're on a mountain skiing. That is basically the Dave Warble layman term of took my daughter there 5 years ago for a visit, and I was like, what is that? And that's what they told me it was, and we went up and looked at it. It's pretty neat. If you're a college kid, especially, that's maybe one way to get a few kids to come to your school, I suppose. But these kids, if they come back saying it was boring, they're lying. I thought it was exciting. I didn't do anything but watch. It's just different. If you Google it, you'll see it's pretty interesting. It looks like it cost millions and millions of dollars to put that together. But our Jumping Branch elementary kids can come back and write maybe a report on what I did at the Snowplex at Liberty University.
All right.
I'll make a motion, we approve the out-of-state overnight trips.
I'll second. Any further discussion?
Go on. You go bid on the.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Aye. Opposed? Let the record reflect. By 3-0 vote, motion carries.
All right.
8F, discussion and possible action to approve MOU between Summers County Schools and Interim Healthcare.
Without going into too much detail for a student with FERPA and HIPAA, basically you can see the funding sources for a student who needs that care, basically. Would that be pretty much in a nutshell, Dr. Knott?
And this is his nurse that he has right now. He's coming up to homeschool. It's a very limited number of hours, but when he's here, that homeschool work just with him. And we'll pay for the nurse.
And that's through the IDEA.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
what I saw.
It's always good to use IDEA and title first. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the MOU between Summers County Schools and the interim healthcare provider.
Second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let the record reflect that by 3-0 vote, motion carries. Moving on to 8G, discussion and possible action to put the following policies out for public comment.
You can see we have the wellness policy that we currently have. This would go out for if anybody would like to provide any kind of input, and it shows what it's related to. You have fundraising activities at the top there, snacks and celebrations. And then the other one is volunteers. We do have a current policy about parents volunteers, but we don't have anything that specifically says if you just want to volunteer. So Trey made sure to check out these two policies to give to you to put out for public comment. And you can see that the due date is the 24th of the month, next couple of weeks for people to make their comments about these two policies.
All right.
So is this like, the volunteer policy? That would be like for those of us who go in to read and stuff. I mean, is that what you're talking about?
It would be anything that's school related that you would want to come in and volunteer. I'll use elementary because that's where you get the most volunteers.
Right.
Say I want to volunteer, or you want to come in and volunteer to help out at the front desk, maybe.
Oh,
You know, something
in
like-
that capacity.
In that capacity, it could be a lot of different things. You might want to volunteer to help out with a sporting event
Okay.
that you're helping chaperone, or you want to go work with, I don't know, let's say cross country, and you're helping keep time, and you're going with, now you're around kids, but we need to make sure you get a background check, all those types of
Or
things.
prom or something.
Yeah, prom. You mentioned a deadly word there, prom and homecoming. Oh, those two give me the chills. Yeah, would you like to, you and your husband, volunteer for prom is what I'm hearing?
We would have to dance. Look at his face, it's beet red.
He didn't say no, We won't put that on the.
We had never danced till our daughter's wedding this summer. He's not over there.
He is not looking at you.
No eye contact. Anyway, there's your two policies, Mr. McBride.
All righty. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we put the policy, new policy 3B4 and revised policy BE6 out for public comment.
A second.
All right. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let the record reflect by a 3-0 vote, motion carries. All right. Now, moving on to personnel items. Superintendent recommends the following for approval.
You need to bring him, Joe. You need to read them out loud, Joe.
Yeah, I was just looking at them again. For leave of absence, Alyssa Hazel, Secretary 2 at Summers County Comprehensive High School. Employment for professional, Emily Graham, English teacher at Summers County Comprehensive High School. Brianna Miller, fourth grade teacher at Hinton Area Elementary. Employment professional extracurricular, Christy Schaefer, SAT coordinator, grades 9 through 12 at Summers County Comprehensive High School. And Christy Schaefer, SAT coordinator, grades 6 through 8 at Summers County Comprehensive High School. Employment of substitute service funded through County Substitute Fund, Edward Houchins, custodian. Employment, summer school teacher, dates July 3rd through the 28th, excluding holidays, Summers County Comprehensive High School. Kelly Mills, intervention teacher. Regina Trout, cafeteria manager.
Here's the rest of those on that sheet.
Let's see.
After Regina Trout.
Gail Meadows, cook 2. Lori Burns, cook 2. Lisa Bowles, cook 2. Jennifer Ward, cook 2. And Greg Aikens, custodian 3. Employment substitute service, Gregory Cochran.
There's the other name on that paper.
Oh, okay. Employment substitute service funded through ARP, Edith Kaufman, Gregory Cochran, Adriana Bauer, Scott Nyday, Joe Farley,
Joe.
and
Joe,
Joe.
he's tabled.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, yep,
I'm
he's been
sorry.
tabled.
And Regina Trout is cafeteria manager. Employment. Mine are different over here, Dave.
For which one?
Summers.
Well, then it starts here.
Now you're back to this one.
Okay.
Yep.
Because mine and yours are some different. Employment of administrator mentors funded through the teacher leadership. Linda Knott, Stephanie Cochran, mentee, Jessica Rhodes, Candace Berkshire, mentee, Kevin Green, David Pack, mentee. All right, I stumbled through that.
That's all right.
That's fine.
So, do I have a motion?
So Emily Graham and Brianna Miller, are those traditional certified teachers, or are they ACE certified? Or
Yes. Emily Graham is the CTR in Mercer County,
okay.
and she's going to come here next year, so she'll be fully certified.
And help me out.
Brianna Miller
with
is,
CTR.
what is it?
CTR, that's the teacher in residence
Yes,
thing.
she's a
Okay.
current in another county, and she'll be fully certified when she comes here.
They
And
switched
then Brianna
acronyms
Miller
on us
is
there.
Fully certified.
And then what?
She's fully certified as well.
Traditional?
Yes. Well, I don't know if she was traditional. I'll assume being elementary, she was traditional. There's not many alt certs that come to us elementary. I can just see that she's fully certified.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept superintendent's recommendations for personnel items.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let the record reflect by 3-0 votes. Motion carries. Next, we move on to superintendent's report.
Okay, 2 weeks ago, we had Handle with Care. I think that went really well. The contact from the State Department, she was a wealth of information. We're working to possibly have her bring a team of people for the kickoff of the next school year, because there was just a lot of information that would be good for every employee. And they said that they could do a breakout session, so it wouldn't be a one size fits all fire to everybody. It would be start the group, then do a half and half. So half with the group, and then have lunch, and then switch. That way you're getting the same thing, but it's broken down in the classroom size. We're still working on those details. We'll get more information to you. The biggest issue was if there was an incident that happened, who's the contact? I said, just contact me and I'll let the principals know, and then they can let their staff know. In the morning, it's Brian and I already deal with the weather, so it's not going to hurt my feelings if they call me at whatever hour, because every day seems like it's a Handle with Care anymore that our kids are dealing with some of the stuff that these kids should have already as a person who lives in our country. But anyway, if they're dealt with the sheriff's department or local city police or the state, they'll contact through the prosecuting attorney and come to me, and then I'll just let the principals know. I think that'll be the easiest way to do it and not a big deal. The supplements and stipends. Last week, we met with the district leadership team. They were to take the information that Ms. Crook put together for you all with the survey and disclose that information at the faculty senate on Friday. We have not talked to those people because, well, they're on Easter break, spring break this week. But once we get back with them on their thoughts, I can tell you from the group, they like the idea of the stipend of $200 to $350, depending on the number that we can afford of the year. They knew it was going to be what we had to look at each year. Their talks were, well, it'd be nice to get an extra check at Christmas or this time this year in the springtime. Long story short, we did let them know that we're not trying to tell you to lean you towards the spring, but we want to get a work out of people for a whole year versus they work up until Christmas and they would leave. Am I missing anything, Miss Crook, Jones, or not? I mean, from that group of people we talked to, I thought it was well received. I think they liked that idea. I thought of all things, they really thought that was pretty cool that we're having this type of conversation because they know we don't have an excess levy, and they like the idea that the board and the central office are having these talks. The district leadership team, I felt, gave us some good information. And then on Friday was faculty senate with that 3-hour early out. So they should have been able to get more information. We only have one more scheduled DLT, and that's in May. So what we might have to do is just get to them sooner and say, what was the straw poll? What did it look like? What are people saying? But we could always send out another. If they say they'd like to vote again, I don't have a problem with them voting if they say December versus, what did we say, May? I think those were the 2 months, it seemed like. I think one other one came in there was Thanksgiving, November, wasn't that was, because they were thinking Christmas. So either way, I would say fall, spring, those two are the dates. I think that's going to be the big thing that they'd probably want to vote on. But other than that, I think that's a good move in the right direction for all employees. Is there anything I'm missing with that, ladies? I mean, that was the main talk.
Did anybody, is there any representatives from service staff as part of the DLTs?
No, we haven't talked to them yet. No,
Would be good to talk.
Yeah, the DLT this year has just been professional. We'll probably have to expand that to service. But I wanted to start with these faculty senate people first, and then we'll try to branch out. You get too many people in a meeting, it becomes difficult to keep people focused. But yeah.
Thank you. And back up to the Handle with Care program.
Yeah.
Who all was the representatives there?
Well, we had our central office, the sheriff's department was there, the prosecuting attorney's office was there. Was Reach there? I'm just trying to remember. I'm just trying to remember how many. There was a lot of people there. Community schools.
Good. Awesome.
We had a great turnout, and I thought everybody appreciated the speaker's message. But I think it would be good to get the whole county on board with working with all the entities because everybody needs to hear how to handle not only with care, but there's other things that are ancillary to that handle with care within the school system. I wouldn't mind trying to get certification that day through not CPR necessarily, but the Narcan. But I need to talk with you on a policy because it's so new and how schools implement that policy, and then who's all involved with that, which would be everybody. And then the other one would be any AED stuff because we've purchased so much of that, and I want everybody to be aware where everything is. So I just don't want it to be a hose of information from one presenter because people, we're all that way. Sitting gets too long. I'd rather break everybody up and send them to different rooms, and then they can switch. The goal would be to take people, let's say we're school employees. I would like to break it up where you mix people. It's not all the same. I don't want all bus drivers, all cooks, or all teachers from this one school. I would like to mix people because we're on the same team. And, you get ideas from each other. And that's what you want to foster from our staff. So we'll get that through. If people want to sneak into another room because their friends in there, I am not policing that. Maybe I'll give that to sheriff. Can you police this today? But I will say with the sheriff's department, if we ever want to do more active shooter training, those boys are on board. I'm telling you what, they like to get after it with that. So if a school would like to do it, I think that's more appropriate because the staff can react in a way that's more specific to their needs versus it was good for one day, but I'd like to in the future as we move forward. Sheriff Ferris and I have agreed, just work with the principal and we'll get through it that way. But anything else with Handle with Care? Okay. Updates on the construction. What I can tell you at this point in time, you guys know that last month we had a concern about the concrete with PSI. What I know at this point in time is anywhere the blocks are sitting down there on that property are on footers. We're good with the blocks sitting on those footers. That's not the issue. They've poured a couple slabs of concrete, which if you would look at it from the back side to the right there up against the building are 3 classrooms basically of concrete slabs. And then coming around the building, there's some more concrete slab. That concrete slab area tomorrow, from what I've been told, is the 28th day. They're going to try to test that and see 28 days out, are we good or no good? Because if we're good, we keep moving on. If we're not, we're going to have to rip the concrete up. We are not on the hook for that pay, and that'll have to be between Radford and I
We don't pay
suppose
for
that
the labor, we don't pay for the concrete
no.
if it's no good.
No, my understanding is that they have to eat that cost. The thing is the school building authority, Mark Miller and Heath, are there and they're aware of everything that's going on. The problem though, the school building authority is like us. They're not engineers, and we have to rely on the engineers up or down. It's time to figure out what we're doing. So at this point in time, hold your breath.
And so it's trending like it's not gonna pass, or is it trending like it's gonna pass?
I have no idea either way. I'm not the engineer. I don't know.
They haven't shared the,
Well, the data that I've given you all so far is what I have, is that PSI at that point in time. This is 28 days out. They're saying at 28 days, it's either going to work or not, because you can't wait any longer. It's only going to get harder, but at some point you have to say, this is where it's trended, and this is the max it's going to get. It's not going to be less. But the problem gets into is the book work about the 4,000 versus the 3,000 PSI and how you interpret that. Again, the engineers have to give an up or down on that, and they'll have to submit that in writing if they're good or not good, because the school building authority is going to need that paperwork just as much as we are. The good news is, as we move forward with the weather and the things of that nature, with everybody being brought to the table, it's been addressed. So we're talking drive time and the retardant that can be put in the concrete to keep it from setting up a certain way in the truck as it's spinning, to make sure when they get on site, it's unloaded quickly. And, you know, our clerk of works, Roger, has been a godsend, because he's on it, and he's letting me know everything. He gives me a daily report, and he is on top of everything. So as soon as I find out from you all, I'm just going to tell you it's either thumbs up or thumbs down, because why do you care on PSI? Either it did or it didn't. I mean, at that point, we're not engineers. They're going to have to tell us. But we will know the PSI. They're still going to give us that report, and I'll give it to you. But I'm just saying, from an engineer's point of view, we'll find out in the next 24 hours.
and so if it fails, that will put us behind schedule by how long? Because I think already we're about 2 weeks behind.
We should be caught up now. But the problem is if you have to rip that out, that's going to put us at least 2 months behind, at least. Because by the time you rip it out, take all that concrete, rebar, all that, now you got to put it all back. And it's not as easy to do, because they've literally put walls in their way. So it's an issue. It'll be 2 months at least. I'd say 3 tops. That's all I can tell you. The good news is if it puts us 2 or 3 months behind, now you're talking into June, and we need to get kids in there in the fall. So, yeah, it's getting us close, and we need to be done sooner than later. But hold your breath, and I know, Renee, you say a couple of small prayers at the end of the night, right?
That's what I always say.
Yep. I could read your mind. But anyway, any other questions on the construction at that end of the side of the, because I need to go to Talkit next. Talkit, they've replaced the doors. All those old doors have been replaced. Before you leave, I have a picture of one doorway. It's scary, guys, but it had to be done. I gave them the go-ahead because the floor is very soft, and it's only going to be worse. And I'm glad I had them rip up some of the gym floor going in the double doors closest to the recess area. So if you're looking at the gym from the school, you had the single door, then you have these double doors. When you open up those double doors, all that wood was soft and even flaking up, like it looked like it had termites, but it wasn't termite. All that water just kept running in there. That, I show you the pictures, those 2x12s underneath to support the floor, It's not a full 2x12. It's just rotted away. So all that floor there in about a 10x10 has been ripped up, and they're going to they call it sistering the 2x12s to the good 2x12s, and then put new flooring there in that doorway because it's just let water in there. It's the same on the other side, but I don't think it's going to go as far in. But there's new concrete outside. There's a 5-foot wide concrete span by the end of the building, and around the back there's a nice pad of concrete. All that water is draining properly. There's no water coming in that one part that we talked about where the restroom, where you're going back into the restrooms, where the I would call it the family restroom area. They have not sealed that up just yet because they've cut out and put lintels in for the ductwork to come in. So the ductwork is coming in, and the HVAC system is set up outside. They put railings around it. The trench has been dug to put the water in. The block guys are laying block where it needs to go now. They cut a new opening for the concession area. All new doors. It's looking nice. They're getting there. It'll really look more interesting once the big old windows come in and they replace that. So at this point in time, there's been some change orders, but it's a 1936 building. We're just trying to do the best we can.
How are we doing on budget with that?
Oh, we're over. It'll probably be at least $250,000 that we might go over because of these changes. I hope it doesn't go any higher than that. If it goes that high, then we're in trouble. But at this point in time, I think we're about done with change orders because you just keep finding more stuff with that gym. It would have been cheaper to build a new gym, but I can't do that with COVID money. Yeah.
And schedule-wise?
Late summer, early fall, because we're waiting on a product that runs the whole system, and that was like the boiler system where it was that one almost 20 weeks out, Lauren?
Which one?
That panel system to run everything.
For talking.
Was that 20 weeks out when we first started? So I would say we're somewhere halfway through. But all the metals come in, all the lintels. They're getting ready to put up the green metal that'll cover the eyesore of that building near the recess area where the sidewalk is. But I'll get you a specific number at the next board meeting, have Bob maybe come in and give you a full report on the construction. Well, no, I'll do this. I'll just have Heath from McKinley come in. And Bob, if you want both of them, we can have both those guys come if that would help you guys out. Do a
Kenny were
presentation.
here, he would say, only if they're not charging us to come here.
They're not. No.
He would be so proud.
Do you want to put that in the notes that you stood in for him? No. And then the last thing, I sent you guys over the weekend so you guys would have this information. The RFPs for the survey. We had 3 companies. You can see their prices and what they would do. The question comes down to it. Obviously, there's 3 board members right now. It doesn't have to be decided tonight because that's not what the issue is. We can put that on the next agenda of discussion of possible action for a survey to be done in our county. But you have the 3 companies that I sent to you. I know it's a lot of information. You do have a cost there, but you also have to look at the cost. What do you get for your money when you start looking at that? So is there any questions on that RFP? Because that was put in the Beckley paper for 2 weeks, and those are the 3 that submitted something. I found it interesting that Dr. Howard O'Call, I see his new job. I was shocked
at first.
Actually, when he called me, he said, Dave, I'm interested in the survey. And I said, okay, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I have this little company. And did you see the company name?
That's what I thought I was like, they've got
I know.
they're thinking the wrong thing.
I forget the name of the company, but
Carry water. Yeah, carry water.
yeah, Chopwood Carry Water. Yeah, I thought, okay, but he submitted his survey. And honestly, he's an academic, and I don't know why I'm acting surprised that he'd be doing something like that, but he likes research. He's a research kind of guy.
And he started the discussion with us too, so.
Mhm.
That is true. He did. That's all I have to say about that unless you have any questions.
I was wondering if I could get actual hard copies
Yes.
of those, but I don't have a computer. I just have my phone and it's hard for me to blow it up big enough to.
How about tonight before you get out of here, I'll get you hard copies.
That'd be
Sure.
great.
Would you all like hard copies?
I'm good. Thank you.
You're good? Okay. All right. I will do that. You want it in color too?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
White. Save the county some money.
Oh,
Kenny will be there.
Kenny would like that too. I don't have anything else unless you guys have any questions.
I just wanted to ask you again about the AEDs.
I talked to Dina about that. She's gonna put together a report for me to give you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I just told her before you officially retire, she said she would do that, put together. Because I said, you've taken on a lot of stuff. We just need an update on that. She's on it.
All right.
You're right. I haven't forgot you.
All right. All right. Any other, no one has any other questions? Discussion of the next agenda. April 18th, statutory meeting.
Yep.
And
That's the one we need that was recessed.
reconvene.
Yep. And that'll be probably, I would say, no more than 10 minutes? Not much change, has it? And then we have a special meeting after that, just to make sure we get a new CSBO hired. We will be interviewing some applicants next week, and we'd like to get you a name on Tuesday. And then if that works, if we have a name to give you all, then we could move forward, and then Ms. Crook could work with that person on a transition so she could get out of here on the 28th. Is that the Friday? Okay. I was going to say 30th, but I think that's a Sunday, and you wouldn't appreciate that. So 28th, then that Friday, to work out with that.
All right.
And also, don't forget,
April the 25th,
Yep.
regular meeting.
and at
LSIC.
4:30, the meal will be provided by not you and your husband. Yeah, it'll be Miss Rhodes. You got him all worked out for nothing. Miss Rhodes said she would provide a meal for us at 4:30, and I will be there at 4:30 sharp. So
All right.
that
Sounds good.
That's good.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
All right.
6:02.
6:02.